and welcome to the Raw Review. We are the Dudley Boys of What Culture. I'm Adam Wilbourn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to review everything that happened on last night's episode of Raw. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review Raw, but also SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on Wrestle Culture. As I said, though, joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to review Monday Night Raw and all the fallouts from the Royal Rumble.
That's what this business is all about. I would honestly have been yeeting on the train if it was a bit more socially acceptable, but who knows, by WrestleMania maybe it will be, because clearly...
Not get your yeet out on the train.
But I had to move it off the chair because somebody wanted to sit down.
Fair enough, okay.
It's going to be a cultural phenomenon of this year's WrestleMania, as it was last year, but it's going to be in a completely different way now because he's got this match, he's got this title shot. It's going to feel like a main event, even if it's not the main event. And that wasn't even the only thing I loved, not even just liked, the only thing I loved about this Raw. There was loads to love about this Raw. For years and years and years and years, 20 of them, WWE would just show you like glimpses of WrestleMania's gone by, stars that were actually stars, and hang a big sign up there and be like, see, it's the same, isn't it? And it transparently was not the same. It feels the same. It feels as good as I remember it being. They're off. This is great. This is what it's all about.
No caveats, no. I don't like WWE that much, but this episode was good. I just had a thoroughly good time watching this show. A thoroughly good time watching this show. There is a thread of why I think I gravitated towards this one and just sat down and bloody liked it. We'll get to it, but I just, no caveats, no usual bullshit. Just thought this was really good.
Yeah, I think favourite episode of Raw this year so far for me, by some distance, to be fair. Just so much to enjoy. Occasionally, maybe not the way they intended it for us to enjoy, but we'll get into that in due course because we have to start with the opening of the show, quick recap of the Rumble, etc. But also, Jey Uso enters to a huge reaction in Cleveland. I say the usual entrance with an entire arena yeeting along with him. It lasted like 5 minutes, it felt like, and he gets in the ring, and you're like, okay, on with the show, on with the promo. Nah, fans are like, one more time. Everyone's into it. He does it again. And just like you could see the genuine emotion clearly pouring out of Jey Uso. You deserve it chance. Like, if you think, we were talking about this yesterday and after the weekend, of course, of is it a bubble thing? Like this fan backlash of, look at the downvotes on the video of Jey winning the Rumble or tweets or whatever. It's not exactly representative, is it?
No, and I still think that's like an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Or like it's always kind of fascinating to look at the makeup and the dynamic of different wrestling fans and how it's such a, like for a lot of people, myself included, like such a long-standing thing. It's like three of us want different things from a show, let alone all the people on the internet. But this kind of entrance and this, and replaying it and all that sort of stuff. And we would have joked about it, having attended WrestleMania last year, of, well, at least he won, so we got it twice, because you do just want as many excuses as possible to be in that moment and be in that excitement of everybody eating and all of that. You can't do this unless people do it. You can't, it's a bad example because he's an awful guy, but do you remember when this happened twice for Hulk Hogan during his comeback tour? I think one was in Canada where he was always just crazy over, and there was another building where there was just stood in the ring, and there was just a bunch of fans that thought they were never going to get to embrace him again, whatever. And there's been other examples, but and then the inverse is the Roman Reigns heat after he beats the Undertaker. You cannot let these moments breathe in the way they do and give the audience so much of that thing unless it's real, unless they actually feel it. And it's funny, like we've talked before about how I'm an idiot because I just never switched off, and I probably should have, and I never did. And the closest I ever got was 2013 and the constant crushing thumb on Daniel Bryan's head every single week. Triple H was in the ring for loads of those segments where they crushed Daniel Bryan and, had loads of control over his own creative, but of course was acting under the wider instructions of WWE to lower the level of Daniel Bryan because we don't want him in the conversation on WrestleMania time. And he must remember that, and he must sort of, I'm not comparing the two in any way, but I think I read a comparison that I was talking to you about this morning, Sergio, of the desks, about how this is a bit like the yes chant, but with the guy that the company is embracing because there's a building full of people doing a thing and you go with it. Triple H must have been in that ring thinking, all these people are saying, yes, we should probably do a little bit more than the Shield beating him up again and me pedigreeing him, and let's get, like, more than give it the big show. We should probably do a little bit more. It's such a thing still for me to see WWE leaning in, embracing, doubling down. Like, we talk about killing towns. This makes a town. This was another 10,000 plus season.
You want to be there. You want to be in that. We've talked about it before.
They've normalized the 10,000 plus Raw in this Netflix era because that in itself is like an event. You go into the Netflix show. Now, when they're back in this town, let's say Jey Uso's back there as a champion or a near miss at WrestleMania, they're going to remember this and they're going to want to go back a second time. It's like, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And yeah, you wish you could jump through the screen and be a part of it.
We haven't got to the promo yet.
Yeah, no, an absolutely unbelievable reaction, but nothing out of the norm. This is a guy who gets unbelievable reactions every single time he comes out to do anything on TV during a time when WWE has rarely, if ever, been this popular. They have just pulled in a WrestleMania-sized crowd for the Royal Rumble. Yet the Netflix numbers aren't amazing. But otherwise, temperature check, Dr. Fed.
It's white hostage.
And Jey Uso's an integral part of that.
You watch this and you're like, why do we think he was an outsider for the Rumble? Like, you look at that and you're like, it just makes sense to do what they did.
But winning that is so crucial to this feeling as well, isn't it? Because you can, the amount of stars that are like, it would be, probably Punk is the example at the moment. If you've given it to a top star, everybody's buzzing for that. And he opens Raw and then it's just, we're on the way, we're going, but it's not the same as this.
No.
Because there's an expectation. The lack of an expectation enhances how big this was.
And you could tell how big it was for Jey, because like he's come out, he's done the obviously YEET entrance, as you say, everywhere he goes. He's cut promos to open Raw and stuff like that. He's had the promo he cut after he won the IC title, but this was like another level. You can see he's trying to gather himself. He's shaky cutting this promo, but it was lovely to see regardless. He says, to be honest, I don't even know what to say, and they say YEET. And he's like, yes, other than that, besides that. He talks about coming in the game 15 years ago, don't laugh, talked about him and his brother coming in and making a good living, carrying their family's legacy, going through the Pando, bloodline, cool chapters of his career. But then he got scared. He didn't have the confidence to be a single star, but after coming out here tonight, he's realised, I've got it now. He talks about how hard he worked to get to this spot, and he begins emotional again as he thanks the fans. He says, thanks to you, I'm the 2025 Royal Rumble winner, and I'm going to the main event of WrestleMania. It's just me, Oos. And then Gunther comes out. Of course he does. But he's there to offer his congratulations. But in reality, he says he's just disappointed. This matchup potentially does not appeal to him. You can't even lace my boots, he says to Jey. Talks about box office and how to make the fans think he's just clinging onto that title. But in reality, he's always in control. He refused to do it again with Jey. He said, beating you at WrestleMania would add nothing to my legacy, unlike beating John Cena, Roman Reigns, CM Punk. You've got everything to gain, Jey. I've got everything to lose. And then he just gets real mean. He says, if you choose me, Jey, every week is going to be hell, with WrestleMania being the most horrible display of violence this business has ever seen.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to hurt you, Jey. I'm going to put you down like a diseased dog. He said, you've got options. You'd be wise to consider them. And Jey says, you're not tired yet? I'm tired. I'm tired of everyone telling me what I can and can't be. I'm going to go to SmackDown and talk to Cody Rhodes, but no matter who I choose, I'm going to go into Mania as the Rumble winner, and I'm going to walk out as champion.
This was so supremely credible on both sides that it almost didn't matter what they said, and that made it all the better that the stuff they did say was so cool.
Yeah.
Like Jey Uso, I think, I could be wrong, because maybe he was overwhelmed by the emotion. There was an element of work, stumbly bumbly, but it was super effective. And even if it was just a shoot, like, fair play, because imagine being in that building and that's for you. And it only enhances his character, because he gets to be, he already looks like a conquering hero, and yet we can position him as an underdog, and it all works. And then Gunther says what he says, beautifully recapped there, because it was vile, and it was vicious, and it was informed by booking. Very good booking, because they had this similar chemistry going into Saturday night's main event, and it was effective for what we all thought was a throwaway match, and now it's become doubly effective because the match turned out to be a throwaway match. So why would Gunther think any differently? He's not doing this to try and get out of a title shot. This is not that kind of faux bravado of a heel. This is, I am telling you that you have an opportunity to live your dream. Don't create a nightmare out of it. Don't ruin it by challenging me. And like playing on all of Jey Uso's insecurities. The insecurities he's just laid bare in this promo in front of a bunch of people that love him and that he feels secure around. So already the chemistry was made, and they've just enhanced it because the stakes have never been higher, because there's that WrestleMania sign hanging in the background. Jey Uso will pick Gunther, we assume. The challenge now, and I'm not saying this is like, right, what have you done for me lately? Because this is brilliant, and I am in. I am in, and I am ready to sort of embrace how they're going to do it. The challenge, and I trust the process, is to keep this hot.
Yeah.
WrestleMania's close, but not that close. And Jey Uso is hot, but needs to stay this hot. You can't let that start to simmer, because they're off and running, and this already feels massive, but we've been here, a different company, 100% different time. But the best example I can think of is like Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey's electric post-Royal Rumble, I choose you, followed by 2 months of Becky Lynch apologising and crutches, because it's like, well, we've got it. I know it's totally different now, and they will already have something on the whiteboard for Jey Uso and Gunther. But it is a challenge, because this is way up there.
You say it's a challenge, and it still might be. I don't necessarily think this is going to be as electrifying as this was. I would describe this as damn near perfect. And I'm actually actively looking forward to delving into why. Even if it starts to get a little bit, right, okay, beat down, we get it, heat, we get it. WWE is doing a European tour before WrestleMania. Yeah. So what you've got is, and this might spell, a bit of bland trouble post-WrestleMania, but that's nothing WWE fans, I'm sorry, are not used to by now. You're going to get Backlash France every Monday for what is it, a month?
Give or take, yeah.
Like, white-hot, underserved markets yeeting for Jey Uso. I mean, this can't really, what could possibly go wrong here? This is perfect. For years and years, just pointlessly, I, on this website, WhatCulture.com/WWE, campaigned for, can we just do unscripted promos or make the guys feel real again, please? It's just, it's time. It never was the time for this, and now it's the time for that. That being, can it just feel like that authentic people feeling real emotions, or worked versions of real emotions, and Jey Uso barely being able to talk because of what this means to him was just perfect for me. Absolutely perfect. I watched him talk, or barely talk, tears in his eyes, and again, as Hamflett has pointed out already, that meta quality of, I'm a great wrestler because I've just won the Royal Rumble. I'm piss poor mechanically, and I didn't think I could hang at the main event level. Those things are intertwined quite brilliantly at this point, and it gets even better with Gunther being the big bad. Like this Jey Uso push is already amazing, but now this Jey Uso versus Gunther this time a fortnight ago was a throwaway Saturday night's main event, whatever. Now I don't think it could possibly be any more perfect, because everything that the bubble, the minority, the people who almost want WWE to fail, or wanted to want to laugh at it, or are willing it to fail, everything they want in a pro wrestler, and everything they wish or pretend to wish Jey Uso was, is embodied in Gunther, his opponent. It just couldn't be any more perfect. This dynamic's brilliant. And again, I'm probably going to repeat this a million times, but the idea that there's an actual stakes world title level is going to do so much of the heavy lifting at this WrestleMania. But before we get there, when I was watching Jey Uso do this, I was almost shouting at the screen, get Gunther out, even if that wasn't the plan. And, we've got, 2.5 months?
Yeah.
2.5 months before WrestleMania. Like, they could have saved the first face-to-face interaction. Jey could have said, he could have just done that. I'm going to tease who I'm going to confront and then do the things next week. I was willing Gunther to come out because of any time for him to come out and just dress Jey Uso down. And the lines and the delivery of the lines were brilliant. Do it when he's on the verge of tears and make him feel awful and get actual heat out of this.
It's sort of a nice dichotomy as well on this show, because you had Gunther there going, don't pick me. And you have Rhea to Charlotte, who gets the polar opposite reactions, Jey going, well, pick me.
Well, yeah, that's a great. I hadn't even considered that with Rhea. I was thinking it from the point of view of Cody.
Yeah.
Well, we're mates. We were tag team champions. It'd be my honor if you pick me.
Do you feel me, dog?
Do you feel him, sir? Like, the contrast between Cody and Gunther will be laid bare on SmackDown, and that can be quite nice between the two of them, and there's a guy in Cody that will, either try and elevate him as the babyface we know he is, or a little dig in the ribs because he's kind of embracing being a little bit of a bastard of late. But again, it's the Jey Uso character remains perfect in that setting, doesn't it? Sidgwick, I hadn't even considered that run to WrestleMania, like the UK tour. Like, Jey Uso will be in your city, and so will we.
I was going to say that you mentioned the European tour there, Sidge, and that's cute. It's not quite a world tour, though, which is what we're doing. We're going all over the UK at the end of March, and then we are heading to Las Vegas for our shows.
I'm not. It's my daughter's birthday, but I will be in the UK.
Yes, we'll be there the Friday night before WrestleMania. If you want to join us for that, you can see us in Belfast and London, Glasgow, Manchester, and then, of course, Las Vegas. WhatCulture.com/tickets if you want to pre-register your interest for that. After this, we see a clip of John Cena from that press conference declaring himself for the Elimination Chamber. There's a nice clip I saw on social media last night of Punk being like, oh, okay, I guess he just gets to declare, does he? More on him.
I'm sorry, right? One more thing, right? And I know I'm getting ahead of the preview for something that's 2.5 months away. This ridiculous culture war where people are pretending that it matters that Jey Uso isn't mechanically particular. He doesn't have to do anything. Gunther can just chop him and chop him and chop him and chop him for 5 minutes. He can do the same match as Jimmy versus Jey Uso last year, super kick versus chop, and it'll work because Gunther's amazing.
Yeah,
it's a cheat code.
This is such a... Have we ever had a situation where it's all so scattershot? Because, as you point out, it does feel like a culture war, like between, different WWE fans, I guess, or I don't know. But then we're talking about a match. I didn't love it or anything. That Dave goes like 4.5 on. So you've got like the preeminent voice.
He goes everywhere.
I know he goes everywhere. I know that only sort of diverts it further. But yeah, that somebody that can sit there and watch it like a Dave Meltzer and go, well, that's like one of the best matches of this year already. I just think there's even some stuff out there now that says to some of the like ball knowers, Jey Uso's not even as bad as you think he is. You know, there's these very...
Jey Uso versus Bron Breakker, but much better. Yeah. Like, what is your problem?
Yeah. But Dave always says he's over in the building, doesn't he? On certain
That's a big part of as well. It's become a big part.
Yeah.
I mean, Hulk Hogan never really got that.
Yeah. I'd say I was in the building, but so was Dave, so maybe we just disagree. I thought Punk Joe was pretty over.
Yeah.
Pretty over.
He was busy with other things.
He was reading a lot of text messages.
This was followed, as I mentioned, by Cena declaring for the Chamber, though, the clip of the press conference. And then we got our first match, which was Penta versus Ludwig Kaiser, who does a promo whilst we're in the ads on Netflix. Well, we're not, but, you know, some people are basically saying, bloody hate Penta, me. He's obviously annoyed with Penta chucking him immediately out of the Royal Rumble. They tried to recreate that spot, or he tried to get his own back at least, and then just got chucked out again. I was like, that's what happened on Saturday. But Kaiser comes back with a DVD on the apron.
The worst Leo DiCaprio. Guys,
if that happened on Saturday, it did. Kaiser's in control during the break. Penta fires back up, and Cole puts over Penta's TNA title reigns. Which he comes back.
Penta one of my favourite all-time Kenny lines when they're doing the build-up to All In 2018, and it's going to be but like they're doing this thing where it's like a meta gag where because they've been dropping so many graphics, Kenny Omega, your opponent is going to be, and then they never give up, no, never say die, and it's just this just rubbish opponent. It's not Peter Avalon, but like one after another of the being the elite loser guys. Kenny's like, no bother. And then they're like, all right then. And then it's Penta. Never give up, no, never say. Spits water. The hardcore guy from TNA. Good stuff. He was a best. Drenched in sweat from like a Golden Lovers match.
Every day. Every day I miss him.
But Penta fires up in the match, hits a backstabber for 2. They go back and forth with some chops. Penta hits a big flip dive and a flying crossbody when they get back in for a 2 count. Hits some super kicks. Kaiser gets him with a Finley roll for 2. But Penta hits the sacrifice, snaps Kaiser's arm, and the Penta driver gets the 1, 2, 3. Post-match, Jackie Redmond tries to interview Penta. Pete Dunne's music hits. Penta's distracted. Kaiser jumps him, and Pete Dunne...
But you left.
Pete Dunne just goes...
I like this match in spite of myself, right? Because Ludwig...
Did you feel dumb watching this?
Did I feel dumb?
Because I sure did.
I didn't feel dumb.
I was made to feel dumb.
But yeah, it was
If you get the story, it was a bit subtle. The idea was that Ludwig Kaiser felt embarrassed on Saturday and he was out for revenge.
I clocked that. Yeah, I watched it a couple of times before I spotted that though.
Yeah.
That's basically what I was going to say. They were doing this very broad, very dumb story, and like, it's this thing in modern wrestling where like so much of the match doesn't speak to that at all. They're quite like proven craftsmen, technicians, whatever. They're good at the stuff they do, and then you try and have a match where it's like, well, he's bloody got himself thrown at the bloody Rumble. Like, they're both too good on the default setting to really illustrate that point. And as a result, the match just becomes the same match you watch all the bloody time. However, I think in Penta and Ludwig Kaiser, you've got two of the better ones of that. Penta is still interesting. He's not yet started as a lot of people are kind of like forecasting, reasonably so. He's not yet entered like Nakamura season, which will happen for him. Get all of his stuff as over as it possibly can be, and then, you know, like ease up and just settle into getting your nice payday run. Kaiser, I think, is one of the, like, might end up being like one of the secret weapons for WWE this year, because he does make his undercard, mid-cardy stuff interesting.
Like how he
is. It's like, I like the way he moves around the ring. Like,
he ran to the Rumble. That was my favourite run to the ring. And then he's like, whoa, calm down. Not yet. And then there was a bit in the match where he's like kicking him. He's got
Kaiser.
The way he holds himself and his shoulders and stuff, And
then Penta's like, give me some more of them kicks. And he's like, ugh.
Just like, is Pete Dunne? Yeah, maybe, right. What if he teaches Pete Dunne how to serve Maybe this will help.
No, nothing's going to help. Nothing's going to help, you stupid slut. It's Pete Dunne in WWE. It's been 8 years, whatever it's been. It has, in fact, been 8 years.
He's serving Dunne.
Jesus Christ. I didn't like this very much. I felt they thought I was dumb when I watched this. And as I said, I'm pretty thick with a lot of things. I can understand a professional wrestling story. That's one thing I can do in life. And they just screamed it in my face. Didn't like it.
You sort of imagine like a bit where, like, you know, there's these like WWE writers' rooms, like of the 90s, and it's all like coked up, and it's just like, what about this? And we'll get the divas and all that. Like, there's a 2025 one where like all these writers are like, it's like an Indiana Jones adventure. They go, there's a holy grail covered in spiderwebs and dust. They open the treasure chest and it just says inference. Like, they finally get it. They finally, not yet. Close the chest. No. Go on. It's not time.
Never. It's never time.
So we see images of JD McDonough nearly dying last week, and they remind us he's got broken ribs and a punctured lung. And Cole says, that's why you don't do this at home, kids. And then we cut to the clubhouse. Finn Balor storms in. Of course, he returned at the Rumble. He says, I've been gone for 2 weeks. Everything's falling apart. You took my tag title match, Dom. You got my partner injured. Maybe we need a babysitter for you. And Liv's like, hey, don't talk to him like that. She says, look, if he hadn't have done it, Postman Pearce would have given his tag title match to another team. War Raiders' fault that JD got injured. But she's got some good news. She's got a qualifying match tonight for the Chamber. And he's also got them, her and Raquel, a tag title shot. And Finn's like, oh, I see. Dom does all this for you and nothing for me. And she's like, no, he's got your qualifying match for the Chamber. And he's like, oh, you did that? I was like, yeah, we're family. And Carlito asks what Dom's done for him, and he says, I got you an apple.
They are a device that, on occasion, not every week, kind of remain entertaining in spite of themselves in the clubhouse. Wrap it up.
Yes.
Like, we've said it a lot of times, but they've sort of turned a corner with this version of it a little bit, but it's never going to be as good as it was. Wrap it up. It's WrestleMania season. Find the match. Find the maybe it still is the Wyatt's. I don't know. But
especially now you could do Liv and Alexa, I suppose.
Yeah. Find the thing and wrap it up.
Far be it from me to point out a logic flaw in WWE's character Bibles and dovetailing narratives and all the rest of it, which is largely true. Yes, do I recall correctly that Liv and Raquel beat the women's tag team champions?
Yeah. Yes.
So they get a tag title match. That makes sense. The idea, though, that they get that and Finn gets a qualifier, Adam Pearce was like at his wits' end with them all, and they're cheating, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. Just doesn't make too much sense, that.
Maybe they caught him in a good mood after signing AJ Styles.
Maybe you don't have to defend everything they do, mate.
Especially now the windows slam shut.
Yeah.
Same transfer deadline day.
Trying to get Ollie Watkins in.
Who knew?
You are a mark, aren't you?
I'm just asking questions, me, mate. Right.
I saw like the shock of seeing Sami Zayn versus CM Punk tonight. Wasn't just shock of that match tonight. Like smile gets wider. That match tonight isn't a triple threat. It's part of a tournament full of triple threats. So the
Yes.
neither of them get pinned. What? Who got to your Triple H? He's so buzzed that he's going to the Hall of Fame. Do wait, like, have all your matches. I'm going to the Hall again.
How many times has he been in now? Twice?
Must be twice, yeah.
Evolution will go in, you know.
Yeah, that'd be a third one.
point.
Like that Raw 15th anniversary where he came out as like the three faces of Triple H. I'll take Mick Foley's stuff from here, thanks. I'm McMahon Family Triple H. I'm Evolution Triple H. Raw, so sometimes sell some glow sticks. Looking so good. Here I come. Sean, put on the green headband. Now with superpowers. 3 Triple H. I was like 15 years of Raw, 15 years of the game. I don't know.
That's why I stopped watching.
Yeah. You're bumping around in pig and carrying Sean's bags, mate. So, where's that? Where's pig Triple H?
Yeah. Where's I need China to be over Triple H? Where's I need Shawn Michaels to be over Triple H? Where's I need Mick Foley to be over Triple H?
Where's your voice being?
Where's I need The Rock to be Triple H? I need to swear and be the only person to do F-bombs to be a heel. This makes me sick to my f***ing stomach, JR.
Imagine if he comes out with the DX one.
Spat all over myself.
Headband on, close.
The spit of hatred.
Just gets to mind. Who is the showstopper? Oh, your voice went back to when I actually liked you, when you were Sean's cheerleader. Anyway, congrats on the whole thing.
Congratulations.
Charlotte Flair comes out to a mixed reaction. It was loads of fun. She hasn't even spoken yet. She's just won the Royal Rumble. She's just come back from a serious injury. Boo! She said...
From yeet to heat. Am I right?
Huh?
Just say the words. You don't have to play with them. Stop playing with your words, Michael.
It's good when stuff rhymes, isn't it?
Don't just stare at it, say it.
She says, oh, it's so good to be back. I've missed you all. Boo! That boom would have bothered me a year ago. I've missed
And
you.
I'm fine now.
I like it. Not for me, I like it.
Says, last year kind of sucked. I thought it was unbreakable, but last year broke me mentally and physically. Boo!
The story's just come out that she's getting divorced, guys.
There's a point where
Is that before or after Raw?
Before.
Yeah.
Because this is where the mask slips, doesn't it?
there's a point where I didn't think my knee was going to get better. I was going to see SummerSlam, Survivor Series, even wrestle. Boo! You guys don't get it, she says.
Come on, mate.
Come on, Charlotte.
Hey, whether you're wooing or booing, doesn't change the fact that I'm the best, she says. What are we doing here, Charlotte? This is the thing she's the very best at. Rhea Ripley comes out. Oh, that'll help. Crowd love her, obviously. Chant Mammy. Ripley tells Charlotte this is her show. Talks about them having the opportunity to go to war again. She says, after what we went through, of course, at WrestleMania, I now respect you. I hope you pick me because last time we fought at Mania, I beat you. And Charlotte says, yeah, but I beat you the first time. We wrestled at WrestleMania. And Ripley's like, yeah, that was a long time ago. I was just a kid back then. And Charlotte said, hey, got plenty of time to make my decision. I'm going to go to NXT tomorrow and see Julia. We'll talk about that later on, of course. Going to go to SmackDown to see if Tiffany Stratton inspires me. But you, Rhea Ripley, you jumped the gun by coming out here. You're still just a kid. Are you a babyface? What are we doing here? Ripley says that Charlotte didn't respect her. Please beat me. Please pick me so I can beat some respect into you.
In answer to your question, what are we doing here? I don't know what we are doing here. I can't decide whether I thought after a really shaky start, visibly upset, I felt sympathy towards her realistically because I'm not like a monster like these people in the crowd. I mean, the woman has just had a divorce and it's just made public, you know? So I don't know whether to say. I thought she did an admirable job of composing herself and slipping back into that heel persona. But then does she think she's a babyface and it's just involuntarily a heel? That's probably what we are doing here. She has said in the past, I can't remember the outlet, but she has said in the past, yeah, no, I can appear cold on television. So, yeah, you sure can. But you just don't know how to be a pro wrestling babyface. You don't. But good news, you're really great at being a heel. So just do that all the time.
I got here, you know, when you're like on a particular week when your PDS flares up and you're like, make him a heel, make CM Punk a heel. This reminded me of that time was it like the go home promo that he cut, or the one with Moxley, where he just...
Yeah, I knew something was amiss
and
then.
he goes, I probably shouldn't have said that. Where he called the guy a virgin or said he was fat or something.
I had 16 screws put in my foot, which is more times this fat guy ever got laid in his life. Fat boy.
It's great, wasn't it?
And then the regret when he's like...
Probably should have said
Probably
that.
shouldn't have said that. No Punker. And then, you know, and to your point, that's where, like, one of these days...
Which is more times than this fat guy ever got screwed in his life.
In Chicago, mate. It's all, yeah. You're losing it,
How was your trip to the show to see your beloved favourite CM Punk? Not so good, Mum.
Make any friends?
CM Punk picked me out of the crowd. Oh, wow, did he? Yeah. Not in the way
Don't
you
watch
think.
it back. No, don't record it. No, delete it from the planet. It's fine.
I'll remember it forever.
The moment, you know, some people are like born heels or are very good at acting, but whatever it is. I always go back to the Charlotte Flair one. Like she's babyface now. She's being runner. Give me the fucking belt. Like, yay! Thanks, referee. And she like this was one of those here, wasn't it? When she just like boo boo boo, like she's trying to get the big lines out, the big delivery, emotional. You don't get it, and then like got herself back on track. It's like there she is, and this is probably just
You're not looking at the whole pie, Jenny.
like I'm with Sidge. Elements of this. I couldn't not like marvel at / pity because like this, there's a strong performer in there trying to perform in spite of certain factors, and the things you're going through are real, and you're having to sort of like power through them. This is not the case. It's just something I've like fantasy booked here. From a political standpoint, all the stories we hear, Charlotte Flair, I want to be a babyface. I want to be a babyface, and all of us are going, this is probably what's going to happen if you do this.
Yeah.
Tiffany
It just
Stratton.
felt like
Who could have seen this coming?
throwback.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? It's like, I want Tiffany Stratton, I want to be a babyface. Tiffany Stratton. Right, she's going to go to SmackDown. She's going to go to NXT for Julie, but she's going to go to SmackDown. It's going to feel like that. In the same way that Jane Gunther feels the match, but you kind of have to do these things just to sort of sound it out in storyline.
Edge considered NXT, let's not forget.
Indeed.
I'm going to watch that title match. Oh, I don't like him. Right.
I'm going to watch this week's NXT. Well, you're on it, so nobody else is, Edge. The idea that she would come to Raw, want to cut this promo.
Call me Mr. Vain. Sorry, I just thought that for a cope.
It's good stuff. And she's like, well, what you got for me, Triple H? Jey Uso's just done his big speech. Probably like...
Malcontent marks.
Oh, go away. Check out the Collision review for our thoughts on that one.
Sorry.
Why are there people like Cope in the world?
But yeah, she gets there.
Sorry, yes.
It's all right. Big Royal Rumble speech. Jey Uso got it. Yeah, fantastic, yeah. We'll probably send Rhea Ripley out there. Excuse me? Yeah, well, like, you know, if you're a babyface and she's a babyface, what's the problem, Charlotte Flair? There's sure no problem. Yeah, fine, send Rhea. I'm ready for it, if anything. I mean, you're only it's not going to happen. And then she's had to live in the reaction of an actual top star babyface and her, an actual top star heel, desperately want to be a babyface. Yes, she will speak to Julia. Yes, she will speak to Tiffany Stratton. Might she spend the week thinking, if I want it, they're going to give me it. If I want this big match, the one they're going to give me is... And it's ironic that it's fallen on the week that Rhea Ripley and IYO SKY actually starts to take shape, but Charlotte Flair can probably still get what she wants. I wonder if this has been planted to put the idea in her head that maybe there's other routes that would work out, and this trilogy's interesting to everybody, and the match could be awesome. You could absolutely sell Charlotte and Rhea one more time on the strength of this.
I mean, that kick ass in the ring.
It would be awesome, yeah. And if it's just happened this way to just, babyface Tiffany Stratton's all yours. Sit on it a week. Have this and see what you think about this too, just to sound it out, you know?
Yeah, either way.
Sound it out, baby.
Either way, she has to be a heel. Whether it's, even if it's Julia, but even if they stick with the Tiffany Stratton stuff.
Whether she wants to or not.
Yes. You just have to say, well, I guess Tiff's going to have to be a babyface if they're not doing the Rhea stuff. Like you say, if they're set on Rhea versus IYO, which I'd love to see as well, then I'm sorry, you can't look at this. This isn't like, well, it's Cleveland. This is an isolated incident. Aside from tonight, where they're in NXT and the fans will be nice to her, this is going to happen everywhere.
Is there anybody in WWE currently? You'll be better at this, Sidge. Is there anybody that they actively swim against the tide with creatively? Like Gargano and Ciampa, maybe? Because
by booking them.
Yeah, it's not like they're hated. They're just fans do nothing.
By persevering with them.
Yeah, and they push them. Yeah, it doesn't feel like anybody's booked.
Under Levesque, when he properly came into it after those wonky experiments where he thought people give a shit about Harley Race, these ingrates don't, but since he's realised what the audience wants, tapped into it, and, let the Renaissance era. I think the only other example I can think of is that people like Braun Breaker could be out every single week saying something to the effect of, "Oh, my dog's out tonight in Cincy. Oh, my dog's out tonight in Little Cock, Arkansas." And then he could be getting barks almost as loud as the Yeets.
Yes. And then some weeks is a heel.
Yeah. Other than Breaker, and maybe it is just a case of, bro, just wait. We've got Jey Uso, we've got CM Punk, we've got Sami Zayn. Like, if you can just tween it up a little, what are you laughing at me
That's
for?
just a funny turn of phrase. You make me laugh. It's all good stuff.
It's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. Just tween it up some, and then pull the old trigger when we're getting a little bit cold.
All good stuff.
It's all good stuff.
What was that?
Pull the old trigger. Because he could just tween it up for a little while, Because he could be very, very over. I think that was Biden that time. What a luxury.
Imagine trying to say it to Charlotte. Yeah, a lot of them were cheering you, so just tween it up some. She's coming.
I think they were saying woo, if anything.
That's it. Yeah. See all them people wooing. Yep.
I was saying woo.
Bye, Charlotte.
Hey, well, that's the that's a tweener alarm.
We go backstage. I unsurprisingly loved this. Sami Zayn's there. Talks about facing CM Punk for the first time ever. Says it's tough losing the Rumble. He thought it was his year.
Love how the paths have barely crossed, really, and he still thinks he's a.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have bad experiences in the ring. No, I've never wrestled him. Just hate him.
The day after Brawl Out, he's getting the text off Kevin Owens. Go and look at what I've just tweeted. I go have a look. LOL! DMs. Got him.
Got him good.
But he
You'll never see that guy ever again.
Yeah, and that's the end of that. I love the business me, It's not like it, is it?
He didn't have time to think about losing the Rumble, though, because he's got a shot at the chamber. CM Punk's all he's got in his mind.
Oh, the Young Bucks, at least they're going to be fine. I mean, to be fair, they had their worst year in years, and they still had the Sting retirement match.
Yeah.
But
TV 4 3/4. Still there.
still.
Jackie
Might
tries.
as well be in TNA.
Jackie tries to.
I mean, it gives me no pleasure to say it, but it's not wrong.
Jackie tries to ask.
Know the test of CM Punk. We're gonna put you against Cody. Thank you. I appreciate this, but this is what we're doing. Thank you, Paul. Come back one more second. Signed a Colt Cabana for TNA. See you later. Boom, gets in the car. WrestleMania in a month.
Be good. So Jackie tries to ask Sami about Kevin Owens, but he says, "I'm sorry." He sees Jey Uso's there, and he walks up to Jey, and there's a little moment between them. What's going to happen? Jey is apologising, saying, "Look, I wasn't trying to eliminate you from the Rumble." And Sami, because it's Sami, goes, "Stop, Boo, stop. Are you kidding me? I'm so happy."
You shitting me?
As soon as I said those words came out of my mouth.
You shitting me?
That would have made it even better. I'm so happy for you. He hugs him. He says, "This is your moment. You did this, my dog. You got here. Now go all the way." And Jey wishes him luck against CM Punk, and they do that. And then, just when you thought it couldn't get even better, there's Sami just looking after where Jey's gone. Who should appear but Karrion Kross?
Oh my God.
Now, that was very touching, he says. Got a question for you, though. Sammy, what's it like to see everyone else live out their dreams whilst you're back here giving out free hugs? What a line that was, by the way. And he's like, listen, Karrion, I'm kind of sick of you coming up to me and trying to talk to me. If we're going to have a problem soon if this doesn't stop. And Karrion Kross says, I'm not here to be a problem, but I could be.
Oh my God.
Oh, leave the Kevin Owens match. This is what I want to see at WrestleMania.
Did you see the socials content Karrion Kross put out with him and Scarlett stood by the curtain, like ruefully watching Sami Zayn getting eliminated from the Rumble? And
If only bloody listened.
as if like the second Sami hit the ring, let's see how he gets on. It's just like, sublime stuff. Like, legitimately really great character stuff for Sami Zayn to have this interaction with Jay ahead of what happens after the main event.
There was still 5% because Sami Zayn is great. There was still 5% of...
You still all right, mate? Like,
5% of, you did eliminate me, but I know deep down I'm being irrational.
Yeah.
I'm being irrational. It's every man for himself, but still, had to be you.
And the 5% is controlled by Karrion Kross, who we then interact with. This is magic. It is magic that Karrion Kross is this over, and he's brilliant at it.
Do you know he's got a little pop ski when he appeared on screen? Hopefully it's not a button being
Yes,
pressed.
I hope so.
He deserves, come on, he's doing some good stuff. Yeah. It's all good stuff with Karrion.
He's the puppeteer of all of WWE, I might say.
He's the conscience.
He's literally doing JY's catalyst.
Yeah.
Twitter gimmick on TV.
And it worked.
In a hot era for the Fed.
Yeah. Then the New Day come out ahead of their match with the LWO. They've got a new theme. It's real boys, you New Day. That's how it sounds like, basically. It's a corrupted version.
That's going to run and run and run and run.
Yeah,
one more time, just to get it clean for the button.
It's your boys, the New Day.
Wait there, one more time.
Sorry.
Come on.
It's your boys, the New Day.
And the spooky.
We have got a new third member. It's scripts.
I mean, to be fair, whenever they're on screen, you always have to pay attention, please. Miss him. Just as much as we miss Sidge.
Hey, Dijak, take those stupid sunglasses off. We're inside.
Wagner watch.
Come Tuesday.
And it's Tuesday as well.
Hope he's doing well.
Always. Come on, man. Hit those indies.
Yeah.
What's left of them.
Oh, man, imagine the Von Wagner for Bloodsport announcement drops ahead of WrestleMania weekend. How awesome would that be?
I mean, I don't want to resent my daughter.
Sidge will be like, have a nice birthday, love.
I must say, my wife said, your daughter, we could just pretend it's a week later. She doesn't really know calendars and everything yet. And I just said, nah.
Good dad.
It's really good,
right. Wouldn't be right.
Hamflett, would you do that? Pat McAfee on commentary calls them the Boo Day and then the Poo Day, which was fantastic.
This is the best Raw of the year. That's when you realise. Probably my favourite Raw of the year, guys.
Yeah.
My mood is my mood's descending.
Okay. They do a promo. I think this might have been in a break.
Tune him out, but thanks for tuning him back into me.
Kofi says it was a crime when they were not in the Rumble, of course. Xavier Woods says the fans are booing the truth, which makes them liars. And Kingston says they can't wait to get out of Cleveland, just like Myles Garrett. Before the match, though, we see Rhea and Io, as you mentioned, interact backstage. Io says she'll see her at Mania. And then Liv Morgan attacks IYO SKY. Ripley runs back to chase her off and then gets tackled over some equipment boxes by Raquel Rodriguez.
You'd get it again in the match later on, but like Rhea, Ripley, and IYO SKY once again have like fantastic on-screen chemistry. If this is the match and there isn't some sort of Charlotte Flair pivot or whatever, they've got the right one.
And then we got the match, Kofi and Xavier versus Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee in all white. What you thought of you when I saw that?
Oh, good.
Double teaming from the New Day to start, but the babyfaces come back. Kofi ends up in the Tree of Woe as a drop kick from Dragon Lee, and then we hear, "Hey yo!" Logan Paul's back home. Everyone hates him. He comes out. F you Logan chants as we go to a break. He's got a qualifying match against Rey next week for the Chamber. But of course, Paul coming out distracts the LWO, and Kingston grabs Dragon Lee's mask and pulls him off the top rope, and Xavier Woods shoves Rey off the steps into the barricade. When we come back from the break, Rey makes a hot tag, but Woods saves Kingston from a 619, so Rey hits Kingston with a seated senton out there, and Logan Paul jumps up, he's sat at commentary and gets in Rey's face, so Rey pushes him away. Post Kingston, Dragon Lee gives Woods a Hurricane Rana off the apron, but Kingston takes the ref, and Logan Paul pulls Rey out of the ring, onto the floor, chucks him back in, he gets hit with a Trouble in Paradise, and the New Day get the win.
Better from the New Day.
Yes.
Not just from the New Day, from the booking of the New Day.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying this in terms of in comparison to the stuff we didn't like about like the prior booking and maybe what wasn't working. I think it was worthwhile trying the jeans and the no music as the biggest possible contrast to what the old New Day was. I think they've actually found a sweet spot here. Like I didn't
What
mind.
was the sweet spot again?
Just to, like they've got
No. What was the sweet spot again, Wilbourn?
It's boy, New Day. And then like a Death Rebel
a theme.
dirge.
A theme, which was like fine.
Yeah.
But again, it's not supposed to exactly like generate YEET responses, is it? They've got like New Day looking attire, but it's them too, and it's distinct from the New Day as we love them. The match, they're doing what Drew McIntyre did when he was first teasing a turn, which is like Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods can't not do a lot of their like high flying stuff or the crowd pleasing stuff, I guess. But like when Drew McIntyre was first turning, it's about like stealing little moments and taking little advantages, and they're getting better and better at that. Rey Mysterio, as we said, on paper was always going to be perfect, but it was just feeling so lightweight. This week it didn't. They were willing to do pretty nasty things to the LWO to get the win, and it looked like they wanted to be back in sort of contention for tag titles again, or contention for actual respect rather than kind of pantomimey, cartoony stuff. And just like we've talked about who won't associate with them, like Dominic Mysterio's, for them to be willing to associate with Logan Paul is good, gross stuff.
Help him win next week. Help
Yeah.
him win next week, and then induct him into the New Day. That's what I'd do.
Well,
We've got another member. Who needs Big E? We've got Logan Paul.
Just the cheating to help him into the chamber is such a nice
Yeah.
spot for them for next week. Like the best week yet for the New Day thing. It felt like they were finally onto something this week.
What do you make of it all?
I thought the match was really strong. Have you done the recap or not?
Yeah.
All right. Must have zoned out. Must have zoned out. There was a little, I don't know, something in the air where usually these things are like,
Senator.
where usually I was like, all right, okay, 90% of this is going to be like pretty lethargic, mechanical, formulaic, and heatless, and then they do the finish. But they were kind of going crazy in there at little points. Like there's a sequence between Kofi and Rey. It's like, if you just remembered that you can move. It was really, really sort of just, there was a crackle to this.
Yeah.
Dragon Lee did some things that are actually representative of the professional wrestler Dragon Lee. It was way more dramatic than I thought. I just got kind of swept up in this one. I really did. And now I don't know if I've bargained with the New Day or settled on what this is, but the Logan Paul dovetailing was really quite well done.
Yeah. I couldn't believe that they put these people together, but I was like, that makes all the sense in the world, doesn't it? We get a sort of an update on Roman Reigns. They can only share what he'll allow them to share. He's going to be out for the foreseeable future.
It's a big.
This was well handled with the Seth stuff.
I was going to say a big plot point for later on.
Because this was like, you were promising an announcement. I thought, oh, disconcertingly vague. But then it was explained.
Kathy Kelly interviews Punk. He says, well, silver lining, Rollins and Reigns didn't win. Apologized to the Sami Zayn fans because he's going to be punching his ticket to go to the Elimination Chamber. He set a goal to go to Mania. The pressure's on everyone else. And then we see that clip of IYO Speed,
Oh my God.
which I just don't tire of seeing. And clearly no one else does because it's done 300 million views in 24 hours.
Every angle's great.
Yeah. Each one better than the last.
And we also got a video package for another Chamber qualifier. It's Lyra Valkyria versus Bayley next week, and they were both in the crowd. Then we got a Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Liv Morgan versus IYO SKY. Early on, Liv hits a basement drop kick to get a 2 count, but there's a tope suicida by IYO to take us to break. When we come back, Morgan hits the 3 amigos, but Sky comes back with a knee strike and a nice missile drop kick and a double foot stomp for 2. Morgan hits a backstabber to fight back. IYO sets up for the moonsault, but Raquel Rodriguez, who's out there, distracts her. So they go to the outside, delivering EO. EO hits a German suplex on the floor and a moonsault out there from the bottom rope, which looked great. They go back inside. Sky goes to come off the top, but Morgan catches her with a code breaker for a nice 2 count. As a Frankensteiner from Sky and a double knee strike in the corner. Sets up for another moonsault, but again, Raquel distracts her, which allows Liv to get her knees up on the moonsault. Morgan sets up for Oblivion, but Sky counters that into a German suplex. Rhea Ripley finally runs out to take out Raquel Rodriguez. And after that, Liv Morgan grabs Rhea by the hair, and Ripley, just on instinct, turns around and chins her. Referee calls for the bell. She's accidentally helped Liv Morgan qualify for the chamber. She tries to reason with EO, who just storms off.
The perfect use of DQ when you're actually like telling stories and you don't abuse it, which is kind of where we're at now with wrestling, which is nice. I have said this with a few matches lately. I think I'm starting to enjoy Liv Morgan matches.
Yes.
I'm not stupid. I know that you pair wrestlers with certain other wrestlers and it helps those wrestlers. But we are starting to excel past the point where Liv Morgan is the one in there with the great wrestler who carries her.
She's really good at eating
She is. She's a class heel for getting her ace kicked. But she's she's there for all of it.
The collision detection on these drop kicks and such is really wicked.
She is working, as has been the case probably since last summer, why would you not work with confidence when the company's going with you? You could see. It's like when wrestlers feel like they're growing physically. Like that's happened to Liv Morgan. And I thought, well, that's great, but it's never necessarily going to happen in the matches. But it's fine because she can project the star power at this point. It's happening in the matches too. We talked on the Rumble review about why are these Iron Women not getting eliminations and why they're not getting anything. Because there was so little to watch in the fiction, you found yourself kind of analysing it more. Liv Morgan was like one of the the glue wrestlers of that match. It wasn't quite Bayley, it wasn't quite IYO SKY, but like Liv Morgan was there for so many things and so many people and trusted to do that, and that's why she was in there for 60 minutes. And yeah, that's like fair play to her, because for the longest time, it didn't just feel like a mark against her, it felt like the mark against her. It will never be there for Liv Morgan in the ring. And increasingly, she's proven me wrong. I really, really enjoyed this. She felt like she belonged as a star. She's on that level. It's not this kind of her again. It's no, this is her tier now. And good booking around the finish. They're making me want Rhea and IYO SKY to have the match.
But they're questioning how they get there.
They're going to do it, Sidge. And like the chemistry between the two of them, like IYO SKY sold the devastation of this fantastically well, and Rhea Ripley knows how to measure now that she's this established like top guy persona of the women's division. She knows how to measure like how much weakness to show, and like, I'm really sorry, but tough titties, like she just got that just right. So I loved all of this.
I don't think this is quite as punchy or as gnarly as the Saturday night's main event match, but that's because in general, I would just like to campaign for shorter matches across the board. Shorter shows, don't inconvenience my time. There's a little bit more flab to this one, but no, she is great at eating shit. She can bump, she can show ass. Stop it.
What?
I thought you were just...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. She's getting there. I don't know if it's a specific to IYO SKY thing. Realistically, they've just a certain... I'm not saying this is good enough to be like a touring match, where I just do awesome Tanaka, sell some tickets. Like, we're not talking that. No. It's not touring match tier where these two wrestlers just work on, like Keith Lee and Donovan Dickhead was one of them for a while. But there's almost something of that to that.
I think she's form a little bit at the moment. I thought the Rhea title change was decent. I say she was good in the Rumble. I thought she was very good in the tag match when they beat Bianca and Naomi. She's starting to assemble a series of matches where you're like, Liv Morgan belongs.
Her face as well, when she was slowly realizing what had happened and that she was just about to be announced as the winner, was like, that's why you're a WWE superstar ultimately. They love that sort of thing.
Got me, wound me up this. I was like, no, I know what you're trying to do, because I was like, here we go. So Rhea takes out Raquel, and IYO obviously wins and qualifies, because we all know or hope that it's going that way. And then what happens. I was like, that's worked me brilliantly.
Yeah. Pamphlet's take's a really good one. I didn't see Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley interact and think, bloody hell, not again with these two.
Yep.
I didn't.
And it is a nice flex of the wins and losses mattering and the WrestleMania of it all. It used to be so... Do you remember the days where like wrestlers just coming out and begging for a spot on the WrestleMania card and they were all so pathetic for it? This is the opposite.
Yeah.
This is how it's supposed to be. They're desperate for it, but you should be. It's the validation.
You're dying for it.
Yeah, that's...
And they could do, because they won't need to do it in the men's because they've got one person already in it in John Cena who's declared. So they could do the like losers.
He loves it.
Final, what would be it'd be a 5-way, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the people would be rooting for Io to get in there that way.
Course,
so,
yeah.
and you could even have like Raquel being sent in by Liv to like make sure she doesn't get in there or whatever. But yeah, really enjoyed this. The War Raiders are interviewed backstage by Kathy Kelly. They say JD McDonough earned their respect. When Chad Gable and the rest of American Made show up, and Gable calls them pathetic for injuring a stud like JD McDonough and running away, barely clinging.
Mistimed his dive.
Yeah, barely clinging to their belts.
He did.
You're not championship material. Unlike my boys, the Creed brothers. And Ivar told them to prepare to go to war if they wanted the titles, and the War Raiders leave. Gable puts on his sunglasses and says, guys, I'm going to have to leave for a bit. I'm going on a quest to conquer the dark arts of Lucha Libre. When I get back, I want to see Ivy Nile with the IC title and you with the tag titles.
This is funny because Chad Gable can be funny, but it's the ultimate, like, trust the process test. All of this, isn't it? This stable making individual promises about winning titles when they've been booked like useless losers for the first like 6 months of their existence on the roster. It's a big ask. Similarly, Chad Gable, whatever all of this is going to make the best of it because that's all he ever does is make the best of it. But is it going to be serious or is it going to be like kind of competently booked Shorty G? You know, like him as a lucha wrestler or wherever this is going, just how much can you trust the process? Because they've kind of sucked from jump, these guys. So like, do you really believe the Creed's are going to win the tag belts this year? Not at the moment. Even out the IC title, not at the moment.
But we could. There's a tiny chance. It's not going to happen, probably. There's a tiny chance we get Viking War Raiders versus Creed Brothers in a Viking rules match.
Oh my god.
Tell me there's a chance of a boat.
Yeah, on a boat. That boat, I need boats in every Viking.
You need water in this one because then when you got Brutus, like, Brutus ball!
Hey? We get a video package for...
Imagine having a fight in the sea. Like that 24/7 title match that time.
Like the dead man.
The dead man.
Did Kirital get eaten by a shark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why the Undertaker fought him.
Is that how he got back to be in the Rumble?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
That's for the boys.
One of the boys in the locker room's in that shark, and the dead man's going to do something about it. Can't get the Zawa back. We can't get that ISO speed.
There's a video package for AJ Styles, and got back to Postman Pearce, who's very excited. He's made one more move before the window slammed shut. AJ Styles, now a member of Monday Night Raw. He's going to be there next week when Braun Breaker shows up and basically says, keep him away from me. He also wants to know what's next for him. You're not showing me enough respect, Postman Pearce. They leave to discuss it. I've just written here, as you can see, Sidge. Phenomenal forearm, spear. Need I say more? Thoughts?
You got them all.
You got them all. Got them all. You gobbled them all up.
That spot, Wilbourn, it just works.
It just makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. Out comes Seth Rollins.
Every week they're singing it.
We're all singing it.
The ridiculous outfit here. Sort of JBL Last Outlaw.
Dead man in space.
Dead man going to one of them New York fashion weeks. New York, does that mean we promote it? Titan Fashion Week?
Fashion week, my ass.
What was
The
Jericho?
cats that walk in my house are the ones that cats in the business. When the BSK come up for a game of bones, crazy cats.
What was Jericho's intergalactic character again? An intergalactic serial killer.
Yeah, who can feel love? What if you can feel love?
Guess we'll never know.
Rainmaker. You get it? Because it's like Rainmaker because I'm fighting a Carter. God, what a hack. Is that the better, even when he was having that 2018 career renaissance, Still suck. Still suck. Go away. Shut down for a month or so at AEW. I don't like to say, this person should lose their job or this person should. Chris Jericho's got enough money. They should sack him.
You know what's bad? You know what's bad? I was thinking, so Triple H in that 2013 period I was on about earlier on, just because he loved doing it. He's an asshole when he's doing the Bryan stuff. B plus P, Brian. Guys like you, dime a dozen. Your Jerichos, your Edges.
Your Rob Van Dams.
God, it was not RVD. Was he right? Was Triple H right about something? Oh,
Wasn't right about Danielson, but he was.
Those other two. And he would imagine that. Imagine Triple H, tiniest knob in a business Triple H. Jericho would just come and go as he pleased. Was never going to be a threat to a top title again. Edge was literally retired with a broken neck. I best just bury him just in case. What if they ever come back and they do something about this?
Bury him just in case.
As the King of Kings. That's how we rolled. You don't become the ass kicker without burying him just in case.
Yep.
Rollins says it stung when he didn't win the Rumble, but he was happy and proud of Jey Uso. Love seeing people.
Do you remember Chris Jericho's tweet response to that?
What was it?
Despite your massive push, you were never that guy either. Not wrong, but you're both pathetic.
Do you remember his the 30 years, the pandemic? He's like, it's great. Congratulations on 30 awesome years. We did a WrestleMania of dog.
You wouldn't even let me your wife. That was the pitch, wasn't it? Yeah. Should I shag her then?
It's 2 years, haven't we? No, walk my dog.
I get the story, Hunter. I get it. I'm the guy who has the affair. I'm the adulterer. Now you walk the dog.
Nobody believed that anybody would Stephanie but me.
And I her in every position.
All three of them.
All three every night.
3 H's, 3 sex positions.
Missionary, the one where I'm on top, and we're smushing it up against each other.
That's all I can do now because my arms are out at you. I look like a goddamn shoebox.
His shoulders are like.
Okay, can you scratch my hip? I can't.
I need to do the work here. It's back on up on us on the game.
Back it on up.
Back it up, Summer.
I can't even stand. My quads don't work no more. I'm this. Walking around like someone left the goddamn hanger in my clothes.
Triple H is literally useless as the guy from the one video by Metallica. Can't do nothing.
Oh, thank God I still got my high spot. Hooking in for the pedigree.
Rollins loves seeing people get what they deserve. Love that Punk lost. Love seeing a scumbag and a piece of trash get dumped out by that idiot Logan Paul.
Sorry, mate. That'd be a good recurring bit if we did bits.
Yeah, we don't do bits. So.
Don't do bits. You loved seeing Punk getting dumped out by that idiot Logan Paul.
Who said that?
Seth. He also said,
I forgot about him.
Roman Reigns lost. Might not make it to Mania at all. He's hurt. But he and Paul Heyman won't admit it. WWE aren't going to tell the truth. But Rollins knew that he hurt Reigns. But he wasn't in the wrong because for the past 4 years, Reigns has done nothing but hurt those closest to him. And he talks about his path to Mania now.
Love how you can't even have a singles match with Roman Reigns. You're not allowed, Seth.
He says his
You
path.
get what you're given.
His path to Mania now goes.
Eat your beans. Sick of eating vegetables, Paul. I ate vegetables my whole damn career, Dad. I mean, Paul. Eat your goddamn greens. Eat your goddamn greens.
He's got a qualifier against Finn Balor, but he wants to talk to Sami Zayn. Calls him out. Out he comes. And Rollins is leading the crowd in the chant for Sami. He says, "Look, we haven't seen eye to eye lately, but that's in the past. Our future could be Chamber or WrestleMania, but your immediate future is Punk." Everyone knows I hate him, but I know much how you hate him as well. I know you put on a brave face at War Games, but tonight's not the night for that. He reminds Zayn that Punk said he wasn't on his level. Punk's delusional if he thought that. You main evented Mania. You're also a good person, something Punk has never been. and Punk isn't on your level because your level's above. He wants Zayn to keep Punk out of the chamber. People like you belong in the match, not Punk. And he says, put his WrestleMania dream in the dirt for good, and then come fight me in that chamber.
It's almost a guilty pleasure at this point, but I'm a situational Seth guy. There are times when I have expanded tolerance for Seth Rollins, and we're in one. I thought this was really entertaining for one, just on its own terms. It was a really nice follow-up to the Roman Reigns story, especially because the attack was so believable, especially because the tension in the brawl with him, Roman and Punk was so believable. As we talked about, the idea that is Seth trying to work this into a three-way, what's going on here? I came away from this Raw, so what Sid said before, thinking, I'm doing all the various maths and jumping ahead with the finish of the main event, but has Punk gotten Cody here? Does he win the chamber? Does it? And it's who knows how it all breaks down, but this is how he's supposed to.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, in WrestleMania season.
I can't believe it.
This is how he's supposed to watch it, right? So I'm thinking, has Punk done it? Does he win this chamber? Does he get Cody? And then Roman and Seth do the singles match, and that because somebody, of all the people to land an actual killer blow on a Roman Reigns, they didn't say it, but concussion, head injury.
Yes.
And off those spots, you buy it as well, you believe it. Of all the people, it's Seth Rollins. And one of them has to fall, and it has to be at WrestleMania, and Shield, whatever, but you can definitely sell it. Nobody would have booked it because it's just Seth Rollins, and this is Roman Reigns and all that. But the pieces have never fit more than they do right now.
He's not in the main event.
Exactly, and Seth's in the role to try and talk it up. He's turning heel, or at least turning situational heel for the Roman story, which Drew did. Drew is the devil on his shoulder. Roman will be the babyface at WrestleMania. I was willing to kind of put those specific pieces together, watching this the way it played out, and I was like, yeah, it's all pretty good if that's how it goes.
I'm not Seth. I don't like Seth Rollins, for Christ's sake. If it's going to be a triple threat, it's one of the better built triple threat matches in recent memory. But if it's going to be Jay versus Gunther, Cody versus Cena, Rollins, Punk, Roman, I think that's too much of a compromise across the board.
Doesn't feel like a last match, does it? Doesn't feel like a main event.
Nah, it doesn't feel anywhere near as big as the last 2 years, frankly. And I just feel like that's one compromise too many. I don't know how it would have shaken out, but I would have done Cody versus Punk. Or Punk versus Roman.
Reading Jamie Kennedy's article this morning where he's pitching matches for WrestleMania, WhatCulture.com, of course, if you want to go and check that out. And I was looking at it, and he's pitched Rollins, Reigns, Punk, Cody, of course, Gunther, Jay, we know, of course, and then Cena, Logan, Paul. Yeah,
well, we were talking about that a few weeks ago. The beauty of someone like a John Cena is anybody versus John Cena is massive because it's John Cena's last WrestleMania, and I'm not saying you just, oh, sorry, John, you're the odd one out. Luckily, you're the best odd one out we've ever had, and you wrap a story around it, but you can wrap a story around any John Cena match. He's just as perfect for a title picture as he is for somebody else doing something. It's a bit like kind of a diet version of The Undertaker's streak. It's going to be one of the big matches because it's Cena's last. Yeah. So this was the first time. I didn't buy, after that amazing promo between Punk and Cody, I still didn't buy that this was the year. I did after Seth Rollins' promo here and Punk's win. Yeah. Oddly enough, that I bought it more from this Raw that maybe that's how the pieces are going to fall, and it's Punk and Cody.
Talk about tweeners as well. We'll get to what Punk said to Sami mid-match in a second. So Punk comes out, Rollins is leaving, obviously ahead of the match with Sami, and they almost come to blows in the aisle, but referees are well aware that they need to be kept apart. Watching this main event, by the way, I thought bloody Wyatt 6 was going to get involved. Does your feed go a bit like...
Yeah, I didn't want to dwell too much on it, but we should talk about it. My feed glitched all out of the shop. It was distracting, and it was disappointing because the one friggin' time that I'm not a little bitch about it with the the kid with the vein kid.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, I still don't like WWE that much. The 1 week I'm not that, I've still got to complain about that.
Yeah, that was annoying.
First time it's happened on Netflix, isn't it? It is disappointing that it's actually got them. Because you mentioned about the fight one? Like the live boxing? Where
Oh, that wasn't the glitching, that was just buffering.
Oh, okay, right.
Because of the demand.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that with
it. It's not a concern.
Back and forth between the two of them early. Superplex takes us to a break. When we come back, Zayn hits the tornado DDT, but his elbow's injured. Punk's been targeted throughout the match.
Punk always matters with Punk, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Punk avoids the blue thunder bomb. hits a kick and a shoulder tackle and a running knee. But he tries to do the bulldog out in a corner. Brilliant counter by Sami Zayn into a Blue Thunder Bomb for a 2 count. Punk gets posted, or runs into the post, I should say. Sami moves, but kicks out of a cradle, puts him in an anaconda vice, and Sami's having to scrabble to get to the ropes. Punk hits that knee strike in the corner. He's like slumped against the ropes, is Sami. Punk, God, I love him, grabs him and goes, "Look at that sign, Scar Boy.
Scar Boy.
Look at that sign. That's all for me. You're not on my level." And he goes to run to the other turnbuckle, but Sami's right behind him. It looks like he's going to get hit with a haluva kick. Punk moves at the last second, dodges it.
Yeah.
This was so well timed. Dodges that, GTS, or goes for a GTS. Zayn counters, I thought this was a finish, into a small package for an unbelievable 2 count.
Yeah.
Zayn avoids another GTS, hits the exploder into the corner, sets up for the haluva kick, but Punk catches him with the GTS and gets the 1, 2, 3.
God damn it, right. I know, and I've never fought for CM Punk as this like god of execution, and that's like a 20-year conversation with CM Punk. But what he is a god of execution of is always understanding that the best place to exist is in the fine margins between like fake and real. And that's what makes his promos as exceptional as they so often are. That what makes his ability to interact physically or on the mic with anybody, like just that extra level captivating more than anybody else. He gets that, and he knows that is, especially in the post-kayfabe era, which is pretty much almost exclusively what he's worked in, he knows that's the sweet spot. And when he applies, well, he always tries to apply it, when he applies it to his matches and it comes off like it did here, there is simply like no wrestler in the world I want to watch more than CM Punk. It's why I feel it even when other people's don't, because I tend to be invested in it.
Well, the people's, now you're talking like him. All I'm saying is that they need to pluralize that.
The connection here could not have been more like sublime.
I love those double knees.
For knowing what we know about
Yes.
Sami and Punk, and it's on screen, let alone in our own fantasy
Smear
booking
your face off, bitch.
Yeah, of how long these two have wanted to fight, or have not fought when there's always been in the air that they might fight. Like, and even if it's not, the grudge is not even between them. It's like, I kind of hate you because of other things. Yeah, well, maybe I hate you because of other things, and you know, it comes out. So they can't kill each other. You know that like sort of, well, they're in the blood feud, so you can't have a lock up. These two can lock up, but it can be a nasty one.
Yeah.
And every exchange can be a little bit nigglier than some of the other ones you would have. Just that extra little step they'll take before a punch because they want to put a bit of sauce on it. And then, yeah, the extra little drills with the elbow and stuff like that. Nothing is ever by
I
accident.
love a good elbow scrape.
And when Punk...
So pissy.
Yeah, it's so annoying when, like, Punk, because he's getting older, or because he's like, when you see the gas tank running empty in a Punk match, when the sloppiness isn't like the sloppiness isn't clean enough to look like it belongs in the match, if that makes sense. The best example is the Penta botched Hurricane Rana from AEW, because it's okay to be knackered and tired and be selling a body part, but that is just this transparent botch and you kind of can't get away from it. Punk does stuff sloppy in a way that makes the match 50 times better. It's why I love his matches with John Cena. Like, I think they're almost, I'd have to stop and rewatch them to remember the one that I didn't like as much. But all of them had this amazing quality of just being like different to everything else and feeling real as a result. It's what makes Punk's classics different to Bryan's classics or Brett's classics or Kenny Omega's classics. They all have their own identity because they all work brilliance in a different way. And this was some CM Punk brilliance mixed with the heft that Sami Zayn puts into his matches almost like nobody else before him. You know, we always use the Mick Foley comparison, and I still think that's a valid one. All the more so now as he continues to like evolve his style a little bit. Chemistry was divine. The stakes couldn't have been any higher. This was proper main event, right? This is the real This is what it's all about. Yet again, another what you watch for performance from a Punk. And it's absolutely no surprise he's doing them at this time of year because he gets it better than almost anybody. I'm going to watch this again when I get home.
I loved this. I absolutely loved it. Like, I loved the pissy little slaps because it wasn't an all-out brawl. It was a wrestling match that was always teetering on the edge of becoming an all-out brawl, and that's the difference. I love when someone tries to shave someone's face off with their elbow. It's just a grinding quality. I love it. The little slaps, like the little moments as well when Punk was effectively got just pecking at Sami Zayn's psyche like only CM Punk can do. That informed the story. There was always one counter that he just knew when to deploy. Just a brilliantly told pro wrestling match. I absolutely, even like the mid-match monologue, Punk can do that. The trash talk was great.
It's level. You use the level the other week in the promo, and that's
it's just a level. Yeah. And there's a bit at the end. Again, it's CM Punk evading the haluva kick at the last second because he's kept his composure and he knows Sami's had a bad time 48 hours ago. So he's just, and they both have, obviously, but Punk's just able to put the game face on and do it, whereas Sami's never been able to do that to his detriment, you know? Just a great measure of each character in this match. But that haluva kick spot, like, it's the same as like Jey Uso crying earlier in the night. There's a high-pitched shriek from that audience when he's about to do it, and it's just the literal antithesis to someone having a good time. I don't begrudge them for it, but in a detached way going, oh, it's time to chant, this is awesome. And that's fine. I don't think I've ever done it. I don't think I've ever shouted, this is awesome in my life. You just sit down and just enjoy it because I hate that chant.
I did it for AJ versus Edge.
Yeah. I used to like the chant, but it's dead. That high-pitched squeal was the anti-this is awesome chant. Just total suspension of disbelief. An actual felt reaction to what was happening. Just that throwback to a time when things were way more sincere, and it's only Punk really and Sami who, and select others, Kenny, you know, who can actually elicit that exact noise, like a perfect old noise, you know. And I think I've said enough about the match on its own terms that I don't necessarily feel like I should say the following, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's quite relevant. If you look at Sami Zayn versus CM Punk, right, versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, you would think that Sami Zayn and CM Punk, yes, there's tension within both dynamics, but you'd think that Punk and Sami meant more because they made it feel like they did in the bones of the match. And if you look at Drew versus Sami last week compared to this, Drew, that's why you're not getting the main event of WrestleMania. You're just not that good. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's why you've got Damian Priest. Seems cut and dry to me on the evidence of those matches with Sami Zayn and indeed their respective careers. Gives me no pleasure. I've got PDS. But CM Punk over the past 8 days has kind of done something to me.
Yeah, he was the bit with the cradle when they both looked at the referee. That's one of them's going, that's 3. One of them's going, that was 2, right? It's just brilliant. The haluva kick.
Made it feel real. They make it feel real. That's the difference.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable stuff.
We were popping at the video yesterday that somebody uploaded on their phone of like the people in the crowd. It was like there was obviously a massive Rollins and Reigns fan sat next to a massive Punk fan at the Rumble. Somebody's videoing it because the noises are like equal volume, and the Rollins and Reigns fan, she screams when they get eliminated. Punk's just tipped them, and then the guy's going like, "Yes, Punk, you are the man. It's Punk. It's Punk." And then obviously Logan Paul, "What the God fucking damn it!" And it's that nobody is going, "This is awesome booking of the wrestler." It couldn't be any more. It's sport frustration, isn't it? It's in the crowd frustration at sport playing out in the
show. The show isn't over though. There is a handshake after the match, and Punk turns to leave to climb out of the ring when
Oh my God.
From behind, Kevin Owens, crippled by the way, appears to attack Sami Zayn from behind. He bumps Punk out of the ring, and Kevin Owens attacks his, yet again, former best friend now, attacks Sami Zayn, package pile driver, and you just see a very injured Kevin Owens slumped in the corner, dead Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens, by the way, wearing a Sami Zayn Forever t-shirt.
The construction of this was excellent again. Yes, it's a heel turn by Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, so it was always going to have just that extra ripple amongst the fans. Like, here we go again with these two. And you knew it was coming. But the fact that, like, Owens always has to rationalize everything he does. And the idea that he was like, do you know how broken down I was? But I wanted to hobble to Monday Night Raw just to support you, Sami. And then you shake that man's hand. I was going to get in the ring and I was going to put my arm around you like you did to me at the Rumble. And then you break bread with this guy. I knew what I had to do. You didn't help me at the Rumble, but I was willing to let you off. And then that. And obviously because Punk gets knocked out the ring, as the babyface, he can't help because he's just been sent to the floor. So it has to happen in this kind of like quick, sudden moment almost. It's like Kevin's moment of clarity, even though in the back of his mind he was always going to do it sooner or later. And how he saw the damage of the match. It's really hard to do that 24 hours later from those bumps you come back. I believed it. I'm picturing him hobbling to the venue. I'm going to be here for you, Sammy, you son of a bitch. And then, like, it goes so well laid out.
They're taking the piss for this WrestleMania season. It's weird. The booking of it's great. I'm still not convinced that they haven't compromised too much with the top matches, but they've done if it is a compromise, it's a really, really well-booked version of a compromise.
It's an unbelievable end to this show. As if the main event wasn't good enough, you have this.
I'm taking the piss.
Does one of them...
Sorry, we've got Cope versus Mox on the other chair.
Assuming that they don't do the losers battle royal or whatever to get the last chamber.
Cope.
Off. Did they put Owens in the chamber as the guy that screwed Sammy out of getting his opportunity, and then Sammy returns at the chamber to screw Owens to stop it, like in Canada, Skydome, the whole deal, and that's how you get to Mania. Like he costs him in the chamber.
I'll never forget when they did the Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Michael goes, Shawn Michaels, and then Matt Striker just go, because like Jericho's looking at a dead take, and he just goes, do it. Like, I ruined it. Thanks very much.
Starsky and Hutch.
Do it. Do it. Let us know your thoughts.
Can we have one more New Day theme, please, before we wrap?
Sorry, yeah. It's your boy, the New Day. Ruined it. Let us know your thoughts on that on Raw in the comments or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch, they can follow all four of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
Follow Michael Sidgwick at
M. Sidgwick.
I thought I was going to have to drop a senator there. You can follow our brilliant producer Adam Nicholas at
It's Adam Nicholas.
And you can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. As I said, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcast from for daily wrestling podcasts. And we'll be back later on today to preview NXT. But for now, this has been the Raw Review. My thanks to Hamflett Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.